Hey everyone, welcome to Train of Thought. I'm Jonii, your conductor, and unfortunately, due to the woke agenda, sleeping is no longer allowed on the train. We will be confiscating any sleeping masks, pillows, and stuffed animals, so please keep that in mind.
And I'm Alf. Do you have any
Holy
cats?
shit, it's Alf!
I'm hungry.
Gordon, I'm such a huge fan. Can I have your
hold
autograph?
on, I thought, Johnny. What's that
Huh?
guy doing on the train? He's not supposed to be here. All right, get him out. Get him.
But
I want to eat some cats.
But Daro, it's Gordon Shumway. You can't kick Gordon Shumway off the train.
Well, I'm Daro, Alf Exterminator.
Shit, he's gone.
I kicked him off.
Well, that's a downer.
Speaking of being kicked off of rides, amusement parks.
Where I get kicked off of rides frequently.
So,
I like how we just let that hang in the air for a little bit.
I was taking a sip of water.
Okay, I'm setting up the timer, so I'll kick it off in a couple seconds here when you start.
So we all like amusement parks out there, right? Not me. I don't, because I'm a freak.
What the fuck?
All right, so there's this cool thing about how amusement parks have so many big, intense rides, and I'm a little squishy mouse. I can only go on the big red car ride. Is
it because they have the you must be this tall to ride, and you're not tall enough for any rides that have that because you're a mouse?
Surprisingly, I am tall enough for that.
How tall are you? Wait, what?
Oh, Daro Lore, 5'6".
Oh shit! Okay, that's actually. You know, you'd think I would have noticed, considering we've been operating this train together for a couple episodes now, but somehow it's slipped my mind.
You would have noticed that I'm a manlet? No way.
I'm a mouselet.
Jeez.
We're doing great.
Anyway, shout out to amusement park. Do you have any amusement parks near you to not to dox yourself?
I will talk about them in a second, but tangent. I just looked. My mom a while ago purchased from a garage sale mouse and keyboard cleaning kit. Do you think that could be used to clean you?
Yeah. Well, is it called shampoo and conditioner? I'm like Sephiroth. I need 30, not 32. That's too much for Sephiroth. Well, but I need 13 bottles of shampoo or whatever.
That's quite the shame. It's anti-static though, so that's probably nice.
Oh, you love to hear it.
We do. Amusement parks. I've been to several. I mean, I don't think this is too doxable. I'm close enough to the Mall of America that I have routinely visited it several times over the years. Famously now, that's where Nickelodeon Universe is, although it used to be the home to an amusement park called Camp Snoopy instead.
Interesting.
The Nickelodeon Universe is really interesting because well, I mean, everyone in my family's taken pictures with the costumed SpongeBob and Patrick there, which is great. But for years, they didn't update the rides, so they had like all the rides were themed around long canceled shows. Like they have a pirate ship ride that for years was a Danny Phantom ride, even after Danny Phantom was like long canceled.
It's the ghost of his show.
I guess so, yeah. I think they have updated that. I'm going to look up what those are themed around now. But of course they have like a bunch of SpongeBob themed rides. They have one themed around Paul Bunyan, who...
I thought you were going to say Paul Blart. Like in the Mall of America, God. That makes so much sense.
That would own. No, they have one themed around Paul Bunyan. I said it. Which, if you'll remember, if you're taking notes, he's the big
guy, right? With the
big blue
ox.
Yeah, and if you're taking notes at home, Paul Bunyan is not a Nickelodeon character.
He's also not real.
There's a what? No, I saw him. There's a big animatronic of him on the ride. He's very scary for children.
Do you think Paul Bunyan and Johnny Appleseed explored each other's bodies?
I don't know if there's enough time in this particular podcast to get into the full nature of their deep and intimate relationship. It's a very deep thing. Yeah, we're just gonna cruise right on past that. But yeah, now currently Nickelodeon Universe. I wonder if there's actually a list of their former. Okay, there is a list of their former rides. They used to have SpongeBob 4D. I remember waiting in line for that once, and then just going home because the line was too long. But yeah, they. It looks like actually they've maintained most rides. They got rid of a Jimmy Neutron ride. They got rid of Attack and the Power of Juju ride.
Oh, cool. My favorite PS2 game turned cartoon.
It's great. For some ungodly reason, the Back at the Barnyard ride is still in operation to this day, which makes less than no sense to me. Apparently there's an Avatar ride too. But yeah, it's a good variety of, like, you know, this ride's for babies and then rides that are a little more intense. There's a big SpongeBob one called the Rock Bottom Plunge that I was afraid to go on as a kid.
Well, you know, you have a SpongeBob themed, like, thing and you don't make the Glove World coaster.
I'm trying to think if they ever had any Glove World themed thing, because I want to say that they did, but actually I don't know if they did. Let me look this up.
They could have sold the glove gummies or whatever made from
They
real
should
rubber.
have sold the glove gummies. That would have owned. No, I guess they didn't have any Glove World themed stuff. They had I want to say they had like a Flying Dutchman themed ride at some point.
Yeah, then they called it Danny Phantom apparently.
And then they changed it to Danny Phantom. What is the pirate ship ride currently? It's not. I don't think it's either of those things right now.
The Breadwinners bread-winning pirate ship.
The bread coaster. Hang on. Oh, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed now. It's Shredder's Mutant Masher. They have a couple Ninja Turtles themed rides because Nickelodeon owns that now.
Do you think they have a Garfield ride? Do you think people
it
made out?
It doesn't look like it.
If it was real, do you think people would make out in it too?
You think people were gay on the Garfield ride?
On the Garfield light ride?
On the Garfield light ride. They would and they should. Apparently they rethemed the Log Chute ride, so I don't know if Paul Bunyan is still involved. I don't know if he had creative differences with the rest of Nickelodeon or not. They rethemed the Jimmy Neutron ride to be Paw Patrol themed, which is lame.
Ick. Yuck.
Still a Fairly Odd Parents ride. That's great. There's a Pepsi ride.
Oh, Pepsi Man's Revenge.
Pepsi Man chases you through a burning building, ready to enact all of his wicked ways upon you.
By the way, I want to mention, speaking about Defunct Land references.
Oh yeah.
I got to talk about Wiggles World because
you should talk more about that. Yeah.
My local theme park is Six Flags New England, which was one of the Six Flagses that had Wiggles World.
Did you ever get to go to Wiggles World?
Oh, I remember distinctly going to Wiggles World.
How was it?
It was like any other children's area in any other amusement park that is a normal amusement park and not Disney. We'll get to Disney later.
Did you drop your ice cream on the ground in front of the Blue Wiggle and start crying uncontrollably?
Did this happen to you?
No, that's just, for some reason, that's just like the image that comes to mind when I think of like a shitty like amusement park experience. Although I'll get into this other theme park later. I guess it's not a theme park. It's not themed, but it is an amusement park.
Tonight's theme is themes.
Tonight's theme is themes. But at another amusement park near me, when I was younger, I went there with my at the time best friend and my brother. And immediately upon walking, my brother is like a former goth, so he's got that kind of, he always dresses in all black. Yeah, a legend. He used to, I heard a tale at my high school once that one of my teachers also had my brother as a student, and I guess my brother brought a fucking anime plush to school one day, and the teacher threw it up in the auditorium where he couldn't get it. But yeah, he's like, anyways, this is a former goth, like current line cook, so he's got, you know, like black hair, usually dresses in like all black, kind of a low voice. And we walk into this fucking amusement park, and this little kid, probably like 5 years old, is running around, and he runs into my brother and falls down on the ground. And my brother like leans down and is like, "Hey, are you okay?" Is like trying to help him. And the kid looks at him and just starts crying really loudly. And eventually like the three of us start walking through the park, and my brother's like, "Man, I've been here 5 minutes and I've already made a child cry." So that's a memorable amusement park experience. But anyways,
the last time I went to Six Flags New England was probably 2018, because that's when I was. This was when like we were graduating high school, and like the seniors had like the last week of school in quotation marks to do cool events, like go on a cruise ship around Boston Harbor, and go to Six Flags New England. But here's the thing, I'm a wimp. So all my other friends wanted to go on all the big roller coasters, and I was the bag carrying guy, and I went on 3 rides that day, and it was okay because you know what? I got to spend time with my friends.
Well, that's
it was
nice.
all right. But I don't think I'd ever want to go to amusement park ever again, because I'm just gonna go there to go on 3 rides, because I'm not going on the baby rides, and they don't make rides for me, which are a little bit above baby, but not roller coasters.
You don't like roller coasters?
No, I'm not.
Well, I used to not like roller coasters, but I like them now. I mostly just don't like the ones that hold you upside down for more than like half a second.
Well, I'm gonna get into it later about safety, but it's not because I think I'm unsafe. It's because every time you go down a hill, your stomach feels like it turns into the void, and I don't like that.
I guess I can kind of see that. Yeah, when I was younger, I mean, I guess I'll talk about this other amusement park now because I was just talking about my brother. But Valley Fair, famed, beloved theme park. They used like a fucking Neon Trees song in the commercial, and they actually recorded them saying Valley Fair over the song. So every time I hear that song now, I can only think about Valley Fair.
That's me with It's Hip to Be Square.
What did they use that for?
If you ever watched Vine Sauce?
Oh yeah, I sure have.
Do you know all about bees?
Wait, that's a Vine Sauce joke?
Yeah, it came from like, I think like Mario Galaxy repainted or whatever.
I didn't fucking know that. I remember somebody, one of my friends.
It didn't come from there, but it was popularized.
Okay, I was gonna
say, Funny Man.
Someone in my high school who I was like acquaintances with, they linked me that at some point. So I knew about the famous "It's Hip to Fuck Bees," but I didn't know that Vine Sauce had ever had any type of connection to it. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's every time I hear that song, normally I'm like, that's not right. Where's the bee sex?
That's me. For a while, that was me with "What's Up" by 4 Non Blondes, because I just think of the fucking He-Man meme.
I think I know what you're talking. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I can hear that song now though, because I'm more so associate it with middle-aged cover bands at local festivals. We'll talk about local festivals some other time. But yeah, I was gonna say Valley Fair. That was the amusement park where I'd kind of I'd evolved into being able to ride the big boy rides, because when I was younger, I'd only ride like the small roller coaster that wasn't that big, wasn't that intense.
The Bugs Bunny little baby coaster.
It wasn't like, they had a section for like baby rides, and it wasn't like a baby ride, but it was probably like the most mild not baby ride.
I think what I can say about like that at Six Flags New England, there's a ride called Catwoman's Whip, which does not go over hills. It just goes around corners really fast, and going around corners really fast is fine by me.
Interesting. I'm trying to think if I've been on rides that really do the. Yeah, I guess so. I'm more. That's interesting to me, because Valley Fair, like the big cool ride there is of course the one where it's got the biggest fucking hills and it goes the fastest.
Yeah, they every Six Flags they call them the Superman rides or whatever, because it's.
Yeah, I think
he's the guy, you know.
Oh yeah, because they themed them. Valley Fair.
Six Flags has the DC and like Warner Brothers stuff, so it has like Bugs Bunny and Superman and the Batman guy.
I don't. Most of the stuff at Valley Fair is not themed. I think some of the baby stuff might be like Peanuts themed. So it's got like Charlie Brown and Snoopy on some of it. But the big cool ride there, they call it like fucking like some like metal band shit, like it's like Steel Venom or something like that.
Ultra Killer.
Oh yeah, and then there's one that's like Excalibur.
Super
oh yeah, but then you can
comic.
go on Charlie Brown's Wind Up if you don't feel like doing any of that other shit.
Oh.
Or Linus's Beetlebugs, or
Linus
Lucy's
Tech
Tugboat.
Tips? No way.
I'd go to a Linus Tech Tips themed theme park. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, what I was saying is when I was younger, I'd go on like that one more mild roller coaster, but then there would also be like they'd have their log flume kind of ride, where literally the entire ride is just you get on it and there's one mildly big hill, and you go down the hill and there's a big splash of water and you get splashed. And literally what me and my friends would do when we were younger is we'd just go on that a bunch of times and we'd get fucking soaked, and then we'd like walk around the park and do other stuff and wait to dry off, and then we would go on it again. It was great.
You if it's like in the middle of the summer, you just attract all of like the humidity to you or whatever, and I bet it'd just be icky, yucky, awful.
Well, yeah, but it's not so bad because the water's nice and not cold, but like pretty cool water. And then you could get ice cream or whatever. And if you start feeling too humid, you just go on the ride again.
You can get the amusement park classic of Dippin' Dots.
Oh, they did have Dippin' Dots there. I fucking miss Dippin' Dots.
Every amusement park has Dippin' Dots.
I could go for some Dippin' Dots, but I don't think you can like buy them outside of amusement parks, really. Like, maybe you can. I don't know. They're kind of uncommon.
Sometimes, this wasn't at this PAX East in Boston, but I remember, like, another PAX East in Boston. They had, like, Dippin' Dots people there, and it's like...
Oh, that's awesome.
Dippin' Dots. But I don't think there was any this year.
I googled Dippin' Dots, and I went to the shopping tab, and disturbingly, the only chain store that's like particularly recurring here, where it's like, yeah, you can get all the fucking Dippin' Dots flavors from here, is Ace Hardware. Why? What?
It's hardware, dude.
Why can't it be at like Target or Walmart, where you buy food? Like, what the fuck? I don't get it. Even in like the store description of Dippin' Dots on here, it's like, yeah, Dippin' Dots, skip the Ferris wheel, dodge the tilt-a-whirl. And it's like, yes, I understand, amusement park, funny.
I mean, it's, I'm sure there's other food at the hardware store, like this, like the insulation foam that they put in your ceiling that looks like cotton candy, plywood.
You can get some of that delicious frozen asbestos.
Yum. Beef jerky asbestos flavor? I love it.
That's delicious. They should sell asbestos flavored Dippin' Dots.
They should sell just the packet that comes in every package of beef jerky.
You can chew on it. Speaking of, because it just came up, I don't know if this is going to be a hot take. I don't know if you or any listeners are going to get mad at me. The Tilt-A-Whirl, I fucking hate the Tilt-A-Whirl. Makes me nauseous. Disgusting.
I don't think I've been on like a Tilt-A-Whirl, and because I think as a kid, the only amusement parks that I can think of that we ever. So you mentioned 2 parks. I get to mention 2 parks before I go before I go and make the audience even more mad and talk about how much I think Disney's stupid. We'll get there.
Oh yeah, you should. You should make everyone really uncomfortable. Hey, by the way, quick side note. I just went to the Wikipedia page for Tilt-A-Whirl. Apparently, the Tilt-A-Whirl originates in Minnesota, which means that it's my fault in some way.
It's your fault. You did it.
God damn it! It debuted at the State Fair.
I mean, sort of the Ferris wheel.
This isn't relevant, so I'm not going to talk about it much, but the first time I went to the State Fair, it was specifically to see Weezer.
Of course.
As everyone does at the State Fair. I digress.
So yeah, the other amusement park that we went to a lot as a kid was Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, which is a bit of a drive. And I distinctly remember, like, the way they track your height is by having it like be different candy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So like the baby sized people were like Hershey Kisses, and like the not quite gigantically tall people but almost there were like Twizzlers or something.
Ooh, I want to be a Twizzler. I want to be a fucking sour punch straw.
Anyway, they had like a thing where you took a tour of how they make the Hershey chocolate bar, and there was I definitely remember that because there was like a portion where they send you through the heat tunnel, and it really felt like I was being roasted alive, even though it was likely just 80-degree temperatures, as in what I'm feeling currently right now in my room.
Yeah, as in it was a normal summer day.
Yeah, and we always went in the summer, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, amusement parks to me are... those are one of those things where, like, I associate it heavily with the season. I associate them heavily with summer. I'll talk more about Valley Fair later because they have a not summer thing, but I will let you finish your thing first.
I don't really have any other memories of Hershey Park that much anyway. It was just like,
damn,
they named
you just
it
wanted
after
to talk
candy.
about
And then they made you smell the chocolate, and I was like, or like they put chocolate scent in the air, and I'll talk about scents later. We'll get there. I promise. I have a lot to say about Disney.
Just by the by, the timer is about halfway through. We got about 20 minutes left. But
we can extend it if we need to, because
I'm fine to go like 10-20 minutes longer on this topic if you'd like.
Anyway, you know what?
But
I don't have anything to say about Hershey Park. I don't think I have much to say about Six Flags anymore. Oh, I do. You know how they call them theme parks?
I sure do.
Don't look up what the Six Flags mean.
I'm looking it up.
So, anyway, the first Six Flags was Six Flags Over Texas. And, that's not a metaphor.
No!
That's not a metaphorical title. That is a literal title of...
Oh, no!
Hey, guess what Six Flags Over Texas means? You know how there was a bunch of people that were in Texas? Remember the one time there was that thing that happened in the 1850s?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's deep Six Flags lore, is that one of the flags at the Six Flags is the Confederate flag.
Do you think the old dude who dances in the Six Flags commercial to the funny song like thinks about that every time he does the dance? Yeah, he's like do 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 do, and he's like, hell yeah, dude, the Confederacy.
When I was a kid, I thought that song was the Six Flags song. I didn't know it was the Vanga Boys at all until
every time
later.
I hear that song, I still associate it with Six Flags, much as I associate that one Neon Tree song with Valley Fair. I'm trying to figure out which Neon Tree song it is. It's not Everybody Talks, it's the other one. I'll look it up. I wonder if that is like archived anywhere. Shit, is this lost media? What the fuck? Hang on.
Damn, I'm gonna a tiny tangent.
Minnesota lost media.
My sister was always deathly afraid of Mr. Six because he was bald and wrinkly.
Wait, is the old dude in the commercial named fucking Mr. Six?
Oh, you bet.
That goes so hard.
Yeah, it was really funny because I think one time we had a picture in front of like the fountain, and there was like a Sylvester's, not Stallone, but the cat guy, and also
Sylvester,
maybe Tweety. And like
Tweety,
my sister and I were taking pictures of like little kids, and like, oh, the costume guy.
Fuck.
In front of the fountain, and Mr. Six was there, and my sister didn't know until after the photo.
Oh my god!
She started crying afterwards.
Was it the actual Mr. Six?
Well, it was Johnny. No.
Was it? How bad was the costume?
Oh, it looked accurate.
Okay, was it accurate, Mr. Six?
Yeah, it was an accurate Mr. Six. This is an amusement park.
Do you want to hear something you might already know, but that's disturbing me heavily?
Okay, go for it.
I was going to jokingly say, is Mr. Six still alive? And then I googled it, and the guy who played Mr. Six is currently only 48. He was not actually an elderly man at the time of the commercial. It's
bald cap, extra wrinkle mask,
Well, I don't know. I haven't thought deeply about that commercial.
Old man
maybe
was
ever
doing
in my
crazy
life.
dances. He was so agile for a wrinkly man.
There are old men that are fit. Don't diss on them for being fit, Dara. In a twist that I should have been expecting from the first episode of this podcast, our conversation has led me to naturally Google fit old men, which is going to be great. I'm not going to share with you any of these results. None of them are wearing shirts.
I don't need to know.
This one's playing pool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can just keep going. I'm gonna just scroll through this for a while.
All right, it's time to get canceled on Twitter. I think Disney parks are stupid.
I've never been. You'll have to elaborate.
I've never been either. But here's the thing.
I've watched the Defunct Land Fast Pass video, which is the easiest way to be radicalized.
Yeah, the Defunct Land Fast Pass video is a real easy way of being like that one like 2-minute clip of all the Disney tubers going, okay, so here's everything you need to know to get a perfect trip at Disney. All right, plan 90 days ahead. You have to plan 90 days ahead because otherwise, if you don't, you will never be able to ride anything you want. And it's like, this sucks. This is terrible. There's like a bunch of like $1 million houses around the Disney property, and they're like Disney themed. Look at Woody in the corner of the house, and that sounds like torture. I want to be, I want to be in a house full of subliminal Mickeys. Thank you. Oh my god.
Subliminal Mickeys.
That's the correct term. They call them hidden Mickeys at the park, but we call them subliminal Mickeys. Or if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you call them lucky emblems.
Fucking subliminal Mickeys. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, then you know that the person who actually runs the Disney parks is Yensid. God damn it, what the fuck? Hang on. I searched subliminal Mickeys, and the literal fucking first result is some official artwork of Mickey and Minnie Mouse. I'll show it to you, Daro.
Okay.
But it's artwork of Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And it's someone being like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Minnie's dress in this picture sure doesn't look like a dress. It sure looks like something else. What the fuck? They're subliminally advertising to our children.
I've seen that picture before. That's really funny.
Minnie's dick dress.
Yeah, for context, it's Minnie hugging Mickey in a blue dress, but because her shoulder is like at 90 degrees and her body's at like 45, it looks like a penis.
Can I go off on like a tangent for a second?
That's the name of the podcast.
Completely unrelated. Yeah. Do you fucking remember like last year or 2 years ago or whatever when Disney released exactly one piece of artwork of Minnie Mouse wearing like a jean suit or something?
No.
And hang on, let me look this up. They did one, like exactly one piece of, it was a pantsuit. One piece of artwork where she wasn't wearing a dress. And then Fox News lost their fucking mind.
I knew it was like, woman wear pant? What is this? This isn't America. This is Wokistan.
It was like, it's like a nice, like tasteful suit, and people were like, well, that's it. That's the last fucking pillar of Western culture gone. And it's like, it's not a permanent outfit, you fucking and that was like a week after the green M&M thing. So it was like, it must have felt as though like fucking Mount Rushmore itself had been fucking like torn down to these people. It was funny. We should talk about stupid controversy sometime. It'd be funny.
Sometime.
Not today. Because today we're talking about amusement parks.
I gotta keep complaining.
13 minutes on the clock. You gotta keep the train rolling.
No, let's just say 17.
Yeah, I'll when the clock goes up, we'll see how we're feeling, and I'll add whatever extra amount of time.
Yeah. Anyway, when I talked about scents earlier, about the Hershey chocolate smell, did you know that Disney has a lot, and I mean a lot, of scent blasters around the park or whatever? That way...
Oh, I feel like I've heard about this, yeah.
There's always this stupid, ridiculous, like, crazy, like... These parks are uber designed, and that's creepy. I don't think that's endearing. I don't think that's cool. I think that's creepy. Like, the tiles on the floor change elevation and shape when you get to a different layer of the park, so you look up and look around at your surroundings. It's like, that's weird. That's weird, right? Like, that's weird. That's not cool. That's weird. And it's like...
I'm a little split.
Oh, when you go by the cookie place, you smell cookies from the cookie smell device to make you want to buy cookies, and it's like...
Oh, yeah, that's a little weird.
That's weird.
I will say, I did have a conversation with one of my friends a while ago where, sorry, I'm being mesmerized by something on my Twitter feed right now. I gotta click away.
Distraction gaming.
Distraction game. It was gaming. We'll talk about it later. But I was talking to my friend a while ago about the Disney parks, and he was just like, man, wouldn't it be fucking miserable to work there? Because like the hyper designed thing like carries forth into how like cast members are expected to behave too. Like there was
always gotta smile. You can't point with one finger.
Nope. I don't know if this was just like a rumor or if this used to be an actual thing. I believe it was an actual thing. I would not put it past them. I've heard, I don't think they do this anymore, but I've heard the Toy Story characters, like Buzz and Woody and all that. If a guest shouted, "Andy's coming," they had to all fall on the ground in sync as though they were the toys in the movie.
Now, I don't think that's that bad. I think the character acting is one of the least, the things I have the least problem about.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be a pain in the ass? You're just going about your job and you have to fucking hit the floor.
You had to hit the floor because some Disney adult went online and watched Top 10 Secrets at Disneyland that you always gotta try.
Some 40-year-old dipshit like wanted you to do a little dance for them while you're trying to do your fucking job.
Jeez. Hey, do you want to get a little bit morbid?
Sure.
All right, now
let's rock bottom plunge our way into something really spooky. Here's a picture of the rock bottom plunge for you.
Awesome. Welcome to our new segment of the podcast. This is no longer Train of Thought. It is now Murder on the Train of Thought. Hey, remember when that baby got eaten by that alligator at Disney?
No.
In like 2016, there was this whole thing that happened where like
why are there alligators at Disney?
It's Florida.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, something happened.
Okay, so he wasn't like part of a thing. He just kind of wandered on.
This was a real alligator and a real baby and a real incident.
And a real death.
Yeah, a real death. So not to make light of baby death.
No. I mean, yeah. But I took a bit of a silly tone there, but no, this is actually like really fucked up.
I think it's messed up that Disney didn't have ropes there to begin with until that happened. This is Florida. There's alligators. What are you doing?
Yeah, I've never been to Florida, but I've heard tales like those fuckers just wander around over there.
There's three species that live in Florida: alligators, stupid people, and hurricanes.
I can confirm. Yeah.
That's the three people that live in Florida. All right. I mean, if you're not one of the three organisms that I mentioned, then you're automatically cool. That's how it works. So if you live in Florida and you're not stupid, an alligator or a hurricane, I think that makes you powerful.
The upper 10th percentile of people in that state.
Anyway,
God, I'll tell you when we're done, but I have so many Florida stories from a friend.
Yum. That's a new podcast.
That'll be fun. Florida stories from a friend? Or yum. Let's get to be two new podcasts.
Sometimes when like I'm browsing YouTube for things to put on in the background, I'm like, oh cool. The story of how some guy died on a roller coaster in whatever years ago. Sure, I'll put that on because something's wrong with my brain. But the thing about it is that like, I don't know, it's interesting. I don't know.
Tickles your little brain.
I'm not a true crime podcast listener. I would never. I'm not. That's not who I am. I'm not out here being like, oh, I gotta watch the true crime. I gotta solve the mystery. It's unsolved. I'm like, oh, here's when thing that normally goes right went wrong, and then you find out, oh, it didn't actually go wrong because, as I mentioned earlier, amusement park rides are pretty safe. Pretty much, if you look it up, there's like a whole Wikipedia article for list of incidents at amusement parks worldwide, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy had a pre-existing heart condition, or this guy didn't have like fit in the restraint correctly and they fell, or this guy trespassed and got his head kicked off because he trespassed. Or this kid got run over by a car in the parking lot, which is more to say about our car-dependent society than amusement parks themselves.
I love cars. I love how they push the little fumes into my face. I love how they fucking
run over kids.
I love how they God, now I'm just like venting about unrelated things. I love how when I'm going to work and I hit the little stoplight and it gives me a green light to cross, and then I cross, the guy in the car can't wait 2 fucking seconds for the biker to cross and has to try to hit me instead.
Jeez.
That's happened like so many fucking times.
I always just run across
residential
those
roads.
I don't care if it makes me look like a little child. I'm running across there because the longer I spend on the road, even if there's a red light, that's longer that some other person who isn't paying attention or does not care about the red light is going to drive through the red light and smash into me.
You know, that's actually a good idea, because I've been conditioned into doing it the other way, which is worse, which is that if I see a car that is like about to pass, even if they're like going to wait, I instinctually wait for them to cross when I have the light, like, right. Which I shouldn't do because that's not the law, but like, fuck, people are so stupid on the road sometimes.
Yeah, yippee, awesome.
I've almost been hit so many fucking times, and then they'll look at me like it's my fault, and I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking pedestrian. You just broke the law. It's
like, did you know that jaywalking was invented by Big Car or whatever?
Big Car!
I don't know. Toot toot chugga chugga, big red car is here to run over pedestrians.
Do you think the Wiggles have ever been involved in a vehicular manslaughter case?
No, they're too kind. They would never.
That's true. They obey traffic laws.
They're too busy wiggling to cause any problems.
The big red car is probably even an electric car.
Ahead of its time, really.
Yeah, go Wiggle. I love the Wiggles.
Anyway, look. Jaywalking was invented by Big Car to
sell more cars.
Yeah, basically to be like, you're not supposed to walk in the road, even though that's how it's always been before this in the 30s. This is car territory. You're not supposed to be here anymore. And it's like, well, where am I supposed to walk now?
There's nothing left.
Anyway, I was gonna go back to being morbid for a second because I actually got distracted. The real thing I wanted to mention was that when I was browsing through videos, there was one that was like the 2011 Ride of Steel disaster incident, and it's like, oh, okay. And it was like, once upon a time in 2011 in Six Flags Darien Lake. And I'm like, oh, have I been there? Oh, that's the one by Lake George in upstate New York. Yeah, I have. I don't remember anything about it, but I've been there once. It was like, oh, this guy wanted to go on the big Superman ride, which, quick tangent, it's so weird that they name roller coasters after characters. It's like, this is Batman. That's not a people. That's a roller coaster. No, it's
Batman has been transformed horrifically.
Yeah.
That's gotta be like the ultimate type of fucking body horror, is like, oh no, I'm becoming a hill made out of metal.
Ick. Yuck. Look at what...
It's definitely someone's fetish.
Look at what you've done. You made me say ick now.
I'm getting to you. Will got to me, and now I'm getting to you.
Anyway, it was like, oh, this like veteran who lost his legs in the war wanted to go on this roller coaster, and then, even though he wasn't supposed to go on this roller coaster, the ride operators let him on anyway, and then he fell off because he didn't have legs. And then you look at the comments, you scroll down a little bit, and you look at the comments, and all the comments are like, hey, you forgot the part where the guy was like threatening the 18-year-old ride operators that he wanted to go on the ride or else. And it was like, huh, why didn't you put that in the video, huh? That's important information. Anyway, that was my tangent about how these documentary type YouTubers gotta include all the information instead of leaving out the part that, maybe just because it makes the victim look bad doesn't mean it's, something you want to leave out.
That's, that just reminds me of, like, so much, like, news type shit like that. Like, I always think of the fucking, that McDonald's lawsuit.
Oh, the
where
McDonald's
it's like
lawsuit lady? It's
the
like,
coffee. Yeah, where it's like,
like,
this fucking idiot sued McDonald's because she spilled coffee. She's totally at fault. And it's like, The coffee was hot enough that it gave her like 3rd-degree burns, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, they literally like left the coffee at dangerously high levels on purpose. It's like, come on, man. All right.
Yeah, it's like, it was like, wasn't it even like an elderly woman? It was like,
I think
I think it was like an elderly woman, like just kind of fumbled the coffee, and it actually like fucked up her body because they were keeping it at like the temperature of the sun, like
all.
And everyone's like, oh, fucking idiot spilled coffee and wanted a quick buck because Big Mac.
I think it was like 206 degrees or something.
Yeah, it was something like fucking absurd, like that.
Almost boiling for water. And it's like, and it turns out the lady only wanted enough like money back to like cover the cost of like the medical like stuff and nothing more. And it's like,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, I looked it up. Stella Liebeck was her name. She was 79 years old. She spilled it in her lap and she had to be hospitalized for fucking 8 days. Like, Jesus. Jesus Christ.
I think this might have been like around the time also the Wendy's thumb chili happened as well, maybe.
What is the Wendy's thumb chili?
Somebody posted a picture online of like, there was a cut off thumb in my Wendy's chili today, and it turned out
I looked that up. That happened after.
Oh, and it turned out that it was just his coworker's thumb that fell off recently that he was showing around, and he put it there himself. Listen, if this coworker got his thumb like sliced off and he was showing it around, like, look, if your thumb fell off but you were able to keep it, would you show it around? Maybe.
I guess so, yeah.
You would. And see,
I feel like there's maybe just a logistical issue bringing it out. That's the timer. I'll set it up for like 10 more minutes in a second.
Like 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I'll do 5 more. I feel like there's just maybe a logistical issue bringing your severed thumb into a Wendy's. I feel like can you imagine if you fucking lost your severed thumb?
Your coworker's severed thumb? It's not even yours.
Yeah, it's like, how does that even happen? Like, hey dude, can I borrow your thumb for a while?
I want to borrow your thumb for a sick prank.
Yeah, it's gonna be really funny. I'm gonna do it for the Vine. It's like, oh, okay, if it's for the Vine, I guess you could borrow my thumb for like 10 minutes.
Dude, now I'm just thinking about like the guy who licked the Dorito shell tacos.
What?
There was a Cool Ranch Dorito shell taco liquor or whatever.
I'm having to Google so many weird turns of phrase today. First Wendy's thumb chili, then Dorito shell taco liquor.
Yeah, it was something that like I had a job at Taco Bell for like 3 months one summer, and in the
best 3 months of your life.
No. In the training videos, there was literally a thing that was like, don't post pictures of you doing stuff that would make the brand look bad. For example, here's a guy licking some Dorito shell tacos. And I was like, I think I remember this.
Holy shit.
And then like the holy trinity of like fast food thing, there's a quintillion. Well, actually no, it was a quadrilogy. I'm wrong. The Holy Square, the Four Horsemen, but actually there's a fifth member, but the fourth one is number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. That one's a classic. And then
I have a coworker that keeps saying the word 15 in that voice, and it keeps throwing me off because I keep thinking Chills is behind me.
Chills jump scare. The actual fifth member is the classic incident of at an Arby's in Colorado, somebody got their penis melted off because the urinal ran hot steam into there.
That's a classic.
Which is a story that if you don't know, you should. It's funny. Not for the guy's penis, but...
No, I mean, I feel like... God, I just had to Google Arby's penis melt.
That's not a... That sounds like a meal you could get there. Oh, the new Arby's penis melt.
Like the guy reads it off. Arby's, we have the meat. And it's just a picture of like a dick on a plate.
I think we should end it there.
Can we call the episode Dick on a Plate?
No, our advertisements that we don't have.
No, we won't get picked up by the algorithm. What if I call it D*****? No,
I got it. My emo brother made a kid cry.
That's pretty good, yeah. My emo brother made a kid cry. He'd be so pissed if I knew that if he knew that I referred to him as emo. Like, he's like, I'm not emo, I'm goth.
Oh, sorry, my goth brother made a kid cry.
My goth brother made a kid cry.
Look,
Holy
I love how every episode of this podcast we have to discuss what the titles are as well.
It usually comes up pretty naturally.
I think that's a recurring bit. Like when we end.
Yeah.
Is it recap time?
Yeah, let's try to do the recap extra fast since we took a little extra time. So, yeah, here, I'll just stop the timer. So we ended with a guy melting his dick off because the Arby's fucking...
The urinal, like, blasted hot steam.
Yeah. And we got there because we were talking about various fast food related controversies and incidents.
It all started with the coffee incident because
the coffee,
I mentioned...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it started with a coffee incident because I mentioned the fact that this one YouTube channel did a video on some guy dying horribly at an amusement park and left out the part where the guy who died horribly was being a jerk about it and kind of was the reason it happened. And I was like,
it was like the
and I was like, these people got to do better with not withholding information on the videos.
Yeah, and then I was like, speaking of withholding information, and before that, you were just talking about how much you fucking hate Disney.
I'm like, this is all weird. This is crazy. The tunnels aren't even the weird part. That's normal. The tunnels are normal.
The tunnels are normal.
I didn't even talk about Walt Disney's envision for Epcot. That stuff's dystopian. But that's for later. That's another time.
Well, yeah, that's another podcast. We'll do an Epcot-themed podcast.
Yeah, sure.
It'll go down great. And before that, I think, were you talking... You had been talking about...
I talked about smell-o-vision or whatever. Not smell-o-vision, but like, I mentioned the Hershey's
sense being
chocolate.
blasted through the park, I think, led you there. And you were talking about Hershey Park...
Because they had how to make a chocolate bar or whatever, and like
yeah, and like all of this was kind of intertwined with you know, the Six Flags and Nickelodeon Universe and Valley Fair.
Shirtless buff old men.
Surely, do I still have that tab? No, I closed that tab. Okay. It's funny, I still it's like half of my tabs I have open right now are like research for the thing I was doing before we started. Which I won't spoil, and then half of them are like Nickelodeon Universe, the history of the Tilt-A-Whirl. But yeah, I think you'd started with Six Flags. You led with that. Maybe I led with Nickelodeon Universe,
which was the Mall of America, or is not the Mall of America. I don't actually know. Is it?
It's in the Mall of America.
It's like it's a subgenre.
It's one of the things in there. The Mall of America. I could talk about the fucking.
We could do
we should do an episode about malls. We'll do a mall podcast. We gotta. Maybe I'll just write these down when I edit.
Not the first mall podcast that I've listened to be honest.
Not the first, and far from the last. But yeah, I think it literally just started because you asked me if I was near any amusement parks or had grown up with
Because I knew that I was going to talk a tiny bit about Six Flags New England, because that's the one that I know about.
All right, well, I think we did it.
I think we should have the call to action, as they say.
Yeah, as you're exiting the train, make sure to drop a like if you're on YouTube, a subscribe. If you're on another podcast platform, please remember to follow us. If you want to hear more,
give us a rating. Give us a rating.
I hear that's
a review
helpful.
Or a comment. Say how much you think that I'm crazy for thinking Disney's creepy.
Yeah, and as you're stepping off into the amusement park,
don't
please
forget to follow us, our socials.
Oh yeah, Daroachie on Twitter and Jonii V, JONIIVEE.
Follow me if you like Pokemon art. That's what I always say.
Please avoid stepping in the melted ice cream on the ground near the child crying and the goth older looking dude walking away.
And the Gordon Shumway who's breaking back onto the train to grab some cats.
Oh shit. Sorry, we're gonna have to go. We gotta protect the cat supply.